This is a quick guide on how to estimate how much tile you're going to need to buy when using the lazy granite system. Your first step is to create a basic diagram of your kitchen countertops like we have on the screen. After you've created your diagram, you're going to pull up a calculator. Our first step is we need to find out what the front edge dimensions are. When we measured, we only measured the back wall, which isn't a problem. We can still figure out the front edge using those measurements. To do that, we're going to start by taking the 120 inches we had on this back wall and subtracting the 24 inches. So that gives us 96 inches. So what that is this total 120 minus this little 24-inch section in the back corner. So 96 inches. We then do the same with our other sides. So 160 minus 24 equals 136. So now we take that 136 and add it to the 96 we got on the other side. And we have a total of 232 inches on our front dimension. Our next step is to subtract from that 232 the areas that are not going to be using the lazy tile. For us, it's the stove and the sink area. The standard stove width is 30 inches. So from our 232, we're going to subtract 30. That gives us 202 inches. For our sink, we're going to be using the undermount sink kit provided by Lazy Granite, which consists of 2 lazy tiles, which are 18 inches wide each. So to account for the sink, from our 202, we're going to subtract 36 inches. We get 166, which we now know is the total of inches just for the front areas where we're going to be needing lazy tiles. We also have an island that we want to use lazy tiles on, so we're going to keep adding from our 166. Our island is 48 inches by 60 inches. We're going to use lazy tiles since they're 24 inches deep. The 48 will fit 2 lazy tiles back to back perfectly. So from our 166, we're going to add 60 inches for this side right here. And we get 226. We now need to add another 60 for this side up here. We now get 286. So we have 286 inches of total front edge where we're going to be using lazy tiles. The lazy tiles, again, are 18 inches wide by 24 inches deep. So to figure out how many lazy tiles we're going to need, we take our 286 and divide it by 18 inches. That gives us a little over 15 lazy tiles. So we always round up. We're going to need at least 16 lazy tiles to finish our project. Now that we've figured that out, we're going to pull up a sheet of paper and start keeping track of all this. So lazy tiles, we need 16. Our next step is to figure out how many corners we're going to need. What corner pieces are is a bullnose that are 3 inches by 24 inches, and they have 2 edges finished. So we're going to need a corner right here since this is a finished edge with no wall, and we're also going to need a corner for our island. So what we do is you look at the counter as if you were standing there. So if we were standing here looking at the counter, this edge is on our left hand side. So that's going to be a long left corner. For the island, since we need all 4 edges, we're going to need 2 of each corner. If we were standing on this edge, we would need 1 left and 1 right. If we're standing here looking at the island, we would again need one left and one right. So we're going to pull up our notepad again. Since we need a left corner here as well as 2 left corners here, we're going to need a total of 3 long left corners. For the island, we need 2 right corners, but we don't need any right corners for our main countertop. So we just need 2 there. Since we have a back corner on our L-shaped countertop, how we deal with that is with a 24-inch by 24-inch tile. So we're going to need one 24 by 24 tile for our back corner. So we pull up our notepad and make sure we put down 1 for that. We decided we were using the sink kit, so we want to make sure we put that as well. On this specific kitchen, we are not going to need any additional bullnose pieces since we're using lazy tiles, so we can put 0 there. The only thing left is backsplash. Lazy Granite provides backsplash pieces that are 4 inches high by 24 inches wide. To figure out how many of those we're going to need, we pull up our calculator again, and this time we want the total back wall dimensions, so what we already have measurements for. So we take 160 and add 120. We have a total of 280 inches of back wall for backsplash. We don't need any backsplash behind the stove, so we're going to subtract 30 inches. You don't have to put backsplash on side pieces here, but some people like it. So if you decide you want that, you would add 24 inches to your number for every side wall you need. So our 120 plus 160 plus 24 equals that 274. So to get how many backsplash pieces we need for that, since the backsplash pieces are 24 inches wide, we're going to take 274 divided by 24 inches. And that gives us a little over 11, so again we round up to 12. So if we want to go with backsplash, we're going to need 12 pieces. So we pull up our notepad. For backsplash, we put 12 pieces. So now we've gone through everything. We have a list of exactly what we need to order. For the more visual people, we can pull up a little diagram that has kind of lines where everything's going to go. So we have our sink kit that's made of 2 of the lazy tiles. We have about 2 3/4 lazy tiles on this side, about 2 3/4 on this side of the sink. We have our 24-inch by 24-inch tile in the back corner. We have a little over 2 lazy tiles on this side of the stove, and then we have a piece of lazy tile here with a left corner piece. And then for the island, we have a left and right corner, a left and right corner, with 3 lazy tiles on each side, meeting in the middle. Estimating lazy granite is really a simple process. What we always recommend, even if your dimensions are dead on and you estimated perfectly and you got that you're going to need 16 lazy tiles, odds are you're going to be cutting at least 1 during your install. So even though you only need 16, we recommend you get 1 or 2 extras just in case you cut wrong or drop one and it breaks or something. So some good pieces to get extras of are anything you're going to be cutting. So lazy tiles, we need 16. I would recommend you get 17 or 18. The corner pieces you're probably not going to need any extras of. Same with the 24 by 24s, but you can always get an extra of that because they are bigger, they do break a little easier before they're installed. The backsplash pieces I definitely recommend getting 1 or 2 extras of, especially if you're having a back corner, because you're going to be cutting a 45-degree angle on those, and you want to make sure you get that right and you don't want to mess up and not have enough pieces. So again, it's pretty simple. It's pretty basic concepts. If you have any questions, feel free to email us your diagram. You can email that to dude, D-U-D-E, at lazygranite.com, and we will go over it just like we did here and send you a list of exactly what you'll need.